All right, here we go. It's another edition of the RTF Show. I am your host, Mike. I'm a little bit sick today, but we are coming to you live. The second half of the Bears-Washington game just started. John is here with me. What's up, brother John? How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. Better than these fucking Bears, that's for sure.
Well, that's always the case.
3 drives in the red zone, 0 points on 2 drives. I can't even recall that. So, but I'm coming to you live from the scene of Kelsey Gate. Obviously, we'll get into it more, but Charlie's Brewery. I'm here live, and of course, you know we do have the man himself. I'll let Mike introduce him though.
Well, Charlie, it looks like Charlie and you are in a hostage video in this. And so I don't know if like Charlie is tucked away in Peter Kramer's basement or something, and you can see him.
If you see me blinking irregularly, it's because I'm sending a code to people that can come and rescue me.
I know for a fact though he doesn't know Morse code, so
it's just some random code that we'll have to decipher later.
Code. Yeah. See if they can crack this code.
Only him and the Boyles know it.
Oh, I gotcha.
And the mother from Arrested Development.
Indeed. Charlie, how are you, man? It's your first time on the show this season. How's it going?
It's great to be back in the saddle, Mike. Thanks for asking. And doing well. Sleep deprived and overworked, but otherwise doing great. Yeah,
Charlie, for those who don't know, tell us what's going on, Charlie. What are you doing over there? What's happening in Portland?
October 8th, we had our grand opening of our newest location here in Portland, Oregon, for you people that don't live on the West Coast. And we opened a brand new 5-barrel brewery and tap room, and we're coming on guns ablazing. We're all systems go. John is drinking one of our newest beers, Island Vibes.
Island Vibes.
It's a passion fruit lava golden ale, and yeah, man.
That sounds fantastic. And true to the marketing genius that you are, you've yet to mention the name of your brewery. So I'll do it for you. Second Profession Brewing. Look it up. You can find them online. Be sure to visit when you're in Portland. Charlie, you shipping anywhere these days?
What was that?
Are you shipping anywhere these days?
Well, COVID did relax a lot of the state-to-state shipping, direct-to-customer shipping laws. So I have to look up individually. If people are interested, I could look it up individually based on where they live. But you know what? I'm always a hop, skip, and a jump away from the fabulous folks at USPS. Very helpful.
There you go. We have a big audience in Vietnam, so shout out to them, and we'll let us know when you get the international orders up and running.
We got people in Vietnam.
All right. You know what? Charlie's here. He's at work. He's got to do his thing. So if he's got to jump up at a moment's notice and go put out a keg fire, I want to let him go, but we want to be sure to get his take on the Kelsey trade first. So let's start there. Kelsey goes to Peter Kramer in exchange for Gerald Everett and $25 in draft money for next year. Big move, a lot of draft money. Charlie, you packing it in this season? Is that what we're seeing here? Playing for 2023.
If I had bet all the money I have in the bank, which is not very much at the moment, that both of my quarterbacks I drafted this year, Russell Wilson and Matthew Stafford, would be circling the drain for bottom of the barrel of the league, I would be totally broke. And I think that is so I'm looking towards the future. Mike, I'm a future guy. I'm not a live in the moment guy. And well, I also like games too, but as you have kind of seen my progress throughout the year, I just haven't made a lot of strides specifically in the quarterback program. So I was offered a chance to help my future self find gain some hope, and I jumped on it, and apparently that lit the whole internet on fire. It's like Kim Kardashian's fat ass, and then my trade with Peter. You know, like very.
Where's Adam Levine?
And Adam Levine is in there somewhere. Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
All right.
What about what's
David
Davidson?
John,
Where's that?
John,
That's right below my trade.
John, when you turn away from the camera, we can't hear you, just so you know.
Okay. I didn't say anything specific. Great.
No, yeah, we knew that. So you said something interesting there, Charlie, that I don't think a lot of people maybe thought about or realized when the trade went down. You were contacted by Peter Kramer. It was Kramer who reached out to you. So this was not you facilitating or offering up a trade or putting Kelsey on the market. It was Kramer taking the initiative and saying, this guy's team sucks. I'm going to go after his best player.
That would be true.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that clears. What's that, John?
You can't fault Peter for going for taking that initiative, and
Nope.
I think every other person in the league could have done that, something similar, correct? Right? Whether Charlie announced it or not, Steve similarly, had offered a few players, but then at 1 and 4, he announced that he wanted to sell. So I think at the same time, people that didn't inquire lost out, which never hurts to ask.
Indeed. I mean, you got. So how are you feeling about the money, Charlie? 25, is that? Do you feel like you could have gotten more? You saw CMC go for 30, Mixon goes for 36. You comfortable with the 25?
Did I maybe leave some money on the table? It would certainly appear so. So, yeah, I mean, there's certainly that to consider. I've also, if you in the history of my RTFL situations, I've been at a severe money disadvantage multiple years in a row, and so I'm looking to start bankrolling myself, my own future picks, and it didn't. Peter threw out that carrot. Should I have waited for a bigger carrot? Possibly. We'll never know now.
No. Yeah, you get yourself set up for next year pretty nicely. Nobody under contract, $25 extra to play around with. And I'd imagine, maybe you're not quite done yet. There's other guys that are movable on your team. Maybe a Raheem Mostert, maybe a Zeke Elliott.
Can you pull up his roster for us?
I sure can. Yeah.
There's Michael Thomas there that if healthy if he gets healthy could be good trade fodder. I mean, that's the other thing is, like, if you look at it, like Wilson and Stafford still have opportunity to turn it around, which also could help, because there is a huge quarterback discrepancy at the moment, right? The top 5 quarterbacks, are doing so well. They're playing out of their minds, right? When you look at like Jackson, Holmes.
I actually saw a fairly interesting stat about this. It's like the top 3 quarterbacks, I believe, which are Allen, Hurts, and Jackson. At this point, and maybe Mahomes is in there, maybe it's the top 4, but at this point are averaging something like 7 points more than the next group of quarterbacks behind them, which in a normal season, the last 5 years, that difference has only been about 3 points, maybe 2-3 points. So it's a massive discrepancy this year. So, well, you're right. We'll see. Maybe Russell Wilson
could bring it up. Stafford could bring it up. So there will be more trade fodder for you. Zeke's not. It's not looking good, but also Zeke's gotten 15 plus touches.
Mm-hmm.
The touchdowns aren't there. So yeah. I mean, you got a lot of people here that could look good. Later.
They're not giving up.
So.
All right. Well, Charlie, any of these players you want to hype and sell off today? I mean, I'm interested in
I really
reading
would
most.
love to field some offers for Ezekiel Elliott. I think he was really to me, he's the devil, you know. He's you can really cut like you never know with that fucking guy. Yeah,
He is
another
he
one
is
of those
the
ones where you really feel like when you have him on your bench or on your team that he's gonna he could put up a big number and really turn around a game for you, and he just hasn't had a game like that yet.
Yeah.
Not to say that he won't.
Yeah, most is. So what's the deal with Chase Edmonds?
Chase Edmonds appears to be dead.
Yeah. Like Mostert seems to be the back, right?
Yes. Which is mind-boggling considering they paid Chase Edmonds like 2 years, $15 million to be their running back. And after 5 weeks, I decided to stop using him. Bears making another drive here. Another first down, getting it across the 50, looking pretty good. We'll see what happens when they get to the red zone. All right, well, shall we move into some of these other trades? You want to recap the week real quick, John?
Let's just run through last week real quick. Survivor update. Josh puts up a pitiful 70 points and is kicked off the island. That's our reigning champion. He's swimming to shore. I mean, let's just say he's swimming to another island because waiting for him is quite a few people now. Ken, Mike, Steve, and thank fucking God, Charlie is there now because he brought the island vibes.
Well, I mean, he sure did. He's wearing his island shirt. You got the plants hanging in the background. You really do look like you're on an island. So in Peter's basement, but on an island.
Yep.
And
one island, it's down in two island, and on that island, Passion, Guava, Golden Ale, by second confession.
There you go. All right. Big wins this week. Bill beats Fitz. That's a huge victory for Bill. He really needed it. And if he's going to keep pace with Josh in our division, that was one he had to have, and it came at a cost for Fitz. Fitz was riding high. He had a great week last week too, and ultimately took the loss. It was a 117-123 affair. And tough luck for Fitz, but a big victory for Bill to kind of crawl to 2-3. And frankly, I'm 2-3. That division is pretty tight. Josh is 3-2. But Bill scored the most points in that division by a long shot at this point. So he's in. Say that again.
That's pretty incredible. He's put up at least 80 points more than Josh, having 4 points scored against him by quite a bit. Josh has a negative split there.
Yeah, it's been so that was a big victory for Bill. And Bill, we'll get to Bill in a second because he made a trade this week as well. The other big victory last week came for Sullivan, who took down Charlie, who's in the room.
Yep. Which really, that sort of set off this whole chain of events.
Yes.
Where if Charlie wins, I don't think necessarily sell at this small trip. And it was that epic battle between Kelsey and Devontae Adams on Monday night.
Yep.
Charlie needed 5 points, more than from Kelsey, more than Devontae Adams, and it came down to 30-27, or 28. But What an epic battle that was. That was a fucking awesome game to watch.
Yeah, that was great Monday night game, and really just yeah. I mean, Charlie, is that the thinking that if you had, if you had come out with this victory, do you think you sell Kelsey?
No, I think if I claw my way to a win, I definitely do not sell Kelsey way. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. Sitting at 1-4 now, it's a more compelling argument.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at that win by Sullivan there. He only had three players in double digits, and that was Blair, Adams, and his defense. And so, I mean, you crowning, Sullivan there as a top tier team is I think a little premature last week or two.
Well, sure. I mean, T. Higgins, 0 points. It doesn't play. I mean, he starts the game and then it doesn't start the game. He just dresses and doesn't play. So I mean, I think that's got to play. That's a big part of it, right? So I'm not gonna, I'm not walking back that take yet. All right.
I'll bring it up every week until you do.
Oh, I mean,
please do.
He gets plays and he makes one catch. The game was ultimately out of reach for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Let's get into it. So there were some big trades this week. And we talked about the Kelsey maneuver. Kelsey goes to Kramer for $25. Let's finish Kramer off here and do this other trade. There was another one that kind of snuck by a lot of people. It snuck by me. This was the Melvin Gordon for Amari Cooper trade that happened.
That's interesting.
Second time that Amari Cooper has been traded this year. So Amari Cooper originally traded in the James Robinson trade. That I am sorry to say, Alec, as much shit as we gave Charlie for this trade, the fact that nobody blew up about Alec's trade is crazy because it's much worse.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't get it, Alec. What were we doing there? I mean, I don't mean to sound like Ken, which I feel like is what I sound like at the moment. But Amari Cooper is the best player in that trade, and Peter walked away with the best player and $15.
Yeah.
Which ultimately, then I think, in speaking of Peter, led to Peter being aggressive in trade offers as such to Charlie. I think he was like, I have $15 now that I can go out and dedicate to other trades, which ultimately led to Kelsey being traded for $25, which I still think is an exorbitant amount of money, even though I spent more than that on a different trade. But yeah, that sort of was the catalyst there. After speaking to Peter about it, was that he felt comfortable going out and really being aggressive. So
yeah, I agree. It's set this whole.
Mark Cooper's the best player in that trade, and then he goes around and flips that player for Melvin Gordon, which whatever.
Yeah, so Melvin Gordon gets traded for Amari Cooper straight up. Peter gets another running back. Bill gets another wide receiver. This is, for Kramer, this is a bench move. This isn't going to affect his team that he's starting from week to week very much. And I think, I think that's fine. Amari Cooper wasn't going to play for him really week to week. So why not shore up your bench? He's got,
Taylor having the injury. I think, I think he needs some assurances.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. And then for Bill, so Bill picks up Amari Cooper. He's I think this does make Bill better. It's helpful to him. He's got two good running backs, and let me pull up Bill's team here and show it to you guys. But he's got two good running backs he can start from week to week in Fournette and Jones.
Sanders too, which
And he wasn't.
Yeah.
Who, Sanders? Yeah, no, Sanders is. I don't know. I'd sneeze all over Sanders, but he did need help. He did need help at wide receiver.
Unfortunately, I think Mark Cooper is his best receiver now.
That's what I was going to say. So when you look at Bill's team, Jerry Jeudy just has not performed the way that people are hoping that he would. Allen Robinson doesn't have the bounce back season that people had hoped that he would. And Adam Thielen, just isn't at the Adam Thielen that he was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So Amari Cooper kind of gets slotted in as Bill's wide receiver one here.
Yeah,
and I got to be honest, Amari Cooper, not the best wide receiver one, but for a guy that to trade Melvin Gordon, a guy that you weren't really going to play anyway, to get a guy like Amari Cooper to become your best wide receiver, I think is a big plus for Bill.
So I think it's for sure a good trade. And, Bill still has a lot of high upside guys like at the wide receiver position, right? It's still we're going into week 6. There's still a lot of season left.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Lazard could still show himself to be the top guy in Green Bay, right? Like there's it's still unknown there. I mean, obviously Dobbs looks really good. Watson's getting involved more, but Lazard could still be the guy down the stretch there. Jerry Jeudy could still be the guy down the stretch. Allen Robinson could get a larger role considering Cooper Kupp has the foot injury, which doesn't sound serious, but it takes one tackle, one cut, the wrong way there for that foot injury to become much more serious. And Allen Robinson has a much larger role. So, but Bill still does have a lot of opportunity there. But yeah, at the moment, the only wide receiver I would pay for is Amari Cooper on his team. And Kittle's wildly underperforming.
Yeah, Kittle has not had the year that people had hoped he would have. I do think there's time coming for Kittle, with Jimmy G back in there and kind of their shared history. I think Kittle turns it around at some point.
For sure. I think it's similar to like Robert Tonyan on the Packers. Like you're playing back from injury.
Yeah.
It will start. That chemistry will be there. The timing will get there. So.
Yep. Agreed.
Their offensive scheme has to heavily rely or has to center on them. A lot of times tight ends that have just lost in the weeds and blockers or decoys. We end up you just never know what that position might post.
Yeah, it's a heavy drop off.
I got big news. Bears touchdown.
Who?
Dante Pettis looked like about a 40-yard pass from Justin Fields. Huge into the core. Oh, there's a flag. Fuck. Oh, it's on the defense. All right, here we go.
This is a great time to go refill our beers, John. Also, to thank our sponsor for Eastern Asia, Tsingtao, the favorite beer of Vietnam.
Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, big catch from Dante Pettis in the corner of the end zone, over the shoulder grab. Woo! All right, Bears up 7, almost 7. Waiting for Santos to hit this field goal, but tentatively 7-3. Big news for the Bears.
All right, let's get into the as we say, the creme de la creme, the coup de grace, the
You can't remember that. Okay, let's do it. Let's go over the big trade. So in addition to the Kelsey trade that happened this week, there was one other big trade. John was involved. I was bidding, and I'll tell you what my package was that I was bidding. I'm happy to go through it.
Well, what was your initial offer? I'll tell you my.
Well, let's outline what the trade is first. Let's not jump the gun here. So the trade ended up being Steve receives Kareem Hunt, Dallas Goedert, which we're going to talk about, and $30 in draft capital for next year for Darren Waller and Christian McCaffrey. The centerpiece of the trade, Christian McCaffrey. This is a home run swing for you, John.
It is, yeah.
What are your thoughts here? Are you excited? You nervous? What are you thinking?
Obviously, I think I'm very excited, but I'm also very nervous, right? I mean, I've got 3 running backs that all have been in the top. They've all been the best running back in the league in the last 3 years or last 5 years, right? Like, or at least in the top 3. Kareem Hunt, I think, has been in the top 3 for at least several times the last 5 years. And obviously, CMC and Barkley have been the top running back in the league in the last 3 years. And so, obviously, I'm very excited. That is a 3-headed monster that not only they're great running backs, they are great pass catchers, right? So in our half-point PPR league, these guys are seeing anywhere from 5 to 10 targets a game. Very excited about that. I think, ultimately, yes, that gives me the best running back core in the league. Now, giving up Goddard, I think, is a big part or big issue. But I knew after talking to Steve when he was in Chicago that giving him Goddard would move the needle more than any other player on my team outside of maybe Kareem Hunt. But I think giving up Goddard was part of it, and being willing to take on Waller. Waller's, he has 1 more year on his contract after this year. That's $14 or something like that. I was okay with that if it gives me a chance at the title. And obviously he's got a hamstring injury. Maybe he's healthy by week 8. That would be great. And maybe that offense maybe starts to realize that they need to involve him more in the game plan to win some games, because they're sitting at 1-4 right now, and maybe need to try a different strategy. Although Josh McDaniels is not a good coach, so probably is going to be stubborn and not do it. But anyway, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm pretty excited. As long as everyone stays healthy, I feel like I put myself in a better position to win a championship.
So, I think it's a great. I think it's a great move for you to pick him up. I'm intrigued by Steve taking back Goddard, but I guess the idea there for Steve being he gets an upgraded tight end. He was already under contract, right, at tight end with Darren Waller for more money than Dallas Goedert, granted for 1 last year. But he takes that contract on. Kareem Hunt not under contract, right?
No.
So I think it's a good move. He sheds
Hunt before the trade deadline. I think that was a big part of it too. Which immediately Fitz was like, well, Kareem Hunt, blah blah blah, gonna be great down the stretch. Yeah, Steve could immediately turn around and sell Hunt for a good price, later in the season, right? So
I think he could turn around and sell Goddard too if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I mean, I gave him two pieces that
Yeah.
really it's it wasn't junk, right? That I gave him back there. So
no, I think it's good. I think it's good. $30, steep price.
look, yeah, it was steep price. I started at 20. Started 20. He came back with the offer of 25. I started with 20. I think I started with 20, Goddard, Hunt, and then maybe one of my rookies, Pierce and Watson on the Packers, hoping to get a little needle moving. He didn't give a shit. And I think he came back with the offer of 25, Goddard, Hunt for CMC and Waller.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next morning he said, hey, like, I have another offer that I think I'm gonna go with.
So
Unless
that might have
you
been
think
mine.
you can take Gibson. Can you take Gibson? I said I do not want Gibson. He's on another year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be willing to increase the money to 30.
So,
What
so
was
I think the other offer was mine. I was looking at trading for CMC. Mostly because I'm 2-3 and Josh is 3-2, and the division's still up for grabs. So I've pulled up the offer sheet here, or what I was.
What did
texting
you?
with Steve.
Yeah, what was it? What was
So I'll
it?
tell you, my initial offer to Steve was Pittman and $15 for CMC, just to get it started. He countered with Pittman, Olav, and $20 for CMC, Antonio Gibson, and Brandon Cooks. I then proposed
Cook's
to
on
Steve.
contract?
Say again?
Cook's on contract or no?
No, Cooks is not on a contract. I then proposed to Steve that I would do Pittman, Olav, and I'd send Taysom Hill, and $12 for McCaffrey and both the Gibson and Waller contracts.
$12?
Yes, but I think the kicker there for Steve was he gets Pittman, he gets Olav, who is a young piece that he can sign to a minimum contract next year, and he gets off the Gibson and Waller contracts. And he thought about it. He came back to me, said he was going to take the evening to think about it, and then ultimately came back and said he had another offer that he was intrigued by. Would I be willing to outline it? And
You were willing to trade the money? So
no. In fact, I told him, honestly, I'm not sure I'm willing to do that initial offer that I made anymore either. The fact that my team as a whole is not very good, and if I had taken out Pittman and Olav, who are two guys that are starting right now for me at wide receiver,
yeah, it's huge.
it would be tough, especially without knowing what Keenan Allen's future holds, because he just appears to not be getting healthy. So that was tough. So I was out. So that was the story of the CMC trade.
And Gibson at this point, I mean, Brian Robinson was the starting running back tonight.
He was, but I'll be honest with you, just watching this game, they look a lot. Washington's moving the ball a whole lot better once they started giving the ball to Gibson. Gibson, I don't think had any touches in the first half, and he had one target, I believe, in the first half. And in the second half, he's been moving the ball pretty well.
All right, well, I want to get back to watch this game, so let's
4 for 32. So let's wrap it up here. We got a big matchup on the board for next week. You wanted to highlight it. What's the week ahead matchup you want to highlight?
It is the two teams that sold off their team We are looking at the Blue Barracudas versus football and stuff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
very
baby. Let's
excited.
go.
The 11-12 seed duking it out.
Yes, it is the two the two teams that have waved the white flag this year. Well, two of the teams that have waved the white flag this year. And it could be a battle to see who goes lowest. Could be pretty fun. I'm excited.
I do just want to highlight that shockingly, I believe this happened last. I believe this happened last year. That Kelly and I are playing each other in this league and in Peter's league, the Soup Kitchen. So Kelly and I have a double header this week. I'm just going to throw this out there if she's still listening. I would love to get a side bet going on total points scored over both games. We can come up with a nice side bet, maybe a 6-pack of Island Vibes by Second Profession Brewing.
Very nice. Charlie, get James Conner out of your lineup. He's not playing this week. Other than that,
Hot take, Mike. Hot take.
This has been another edition of the RTF Show. Charlie, thank you for coming on. Thanks for joining us, man.
Here's Mike.
Best of luck with Second Profession, and all remember to shop at Second Profession for all your beer needs. I plan to in the future.
There's an open invitation to say fuck it and do it live here at the brewery anytime you want. We're just you're just a quick hop, skip, and a jump right over here.
I got an idea. Maybe we do a draft at the brewery sometime.
Yeah.
There we go.
For a cool $4,000, we can rent the place out.
All right. Maybe he gives us a
And that's
discount.
with a 25% discount.
Family.
Oh, that is with the discount. Okay, nice. All right, guys. This has been another edition of the RTF Show.
Kelsey Gate.